Hello, FewCandy here, and welcome back to Philadelphia, where last time out I said that we were going to build a posh high school up on this hillside over here. And what better timing, because today, as you are watching this, the German pack has just become available on PDX Mods, and it has the perfect high school asset for us to place up here. Exactly the type of thing that I was envisaging this high school would look like. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So let's kick off and I will show you this absolutely amazing high school asset from the German pack. Okay, so like this, it doesn't look like that grand, but when you've got the extensions on it, it's super nice. But it's like this posh red brick, classic style, European building. Wonderful, these decorated gardens out the back. I'm not really entirely sure why a high school needs a playground. I'd probably argue with that, but it is what it is. So we're going to use that. We've also got the German elementary school, which is probably even nicer, to be honest. Appropriate for them to have a playground in the back of the field there. We can't see it because all the lettering's over it. So we're going to use a combination of these assets to build out our really posh boarding school area. And of course, before we start, let's remove all of the trees from our little playing field, as it were, over here so that we can see what we're doing and we're not hiding any assets underneath roads or buildings or anything like that. Never know what that's going to do to performance further down the line. So there we go, we've got our nice kind of space. And the beautiful thing I think about this as well is if we come back over the city, let's like look over from over here, we're going to be able to see the high school set up on this hillside over here. It's going to be really quite prominent, like even down to street level. You can still see this little plateau up here. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. And that's from pretty much all around the city, at least across this side where it's not blocked by the rest of the hillside over here. So yeah, I'm quite excited about this one. So just a little quick respec as well. We've got one high school over here, which is completely full. We have an elementary here, which has quite a bit of space actually. We have an elementary here with not very much space, and we have another elementary over here, which is essentially full as well. But Gaudy Bay at the moment has no access to high school because really the only one is over here in Few Haven. So what I would quite like to do is give them sort of direct access to this by essentially changing up this intersection over here. Now it's a little bit troublesome because we've got a very steep slope to get up over this side, so it's going to be a bit interesting. So what I'm going to do is actually run the main arterial over the road in a bit of a curve over this way, and then we can start to come up the hillside. And I'm thinking probably going round the back of where the high school is going to be so that it meets up with the arterial over there. Of course, the alternative connection is that they go down this local road and then there will be an exit off this from here to get up to the high school as well. But let's just sort out this intersection before we do anything else. So I'm going to hit pause. And we never actually did do our jog handle here, so it means it's relatively nice and easy for us to come in and fix this now. So I'm just going to grab the same road as this, and we're going to use this to frame our intersection. Now we're already coming down there, which is a little bit troublesome. So let's make the increments pretty small so we get a little bit of better control here. So that's plus 3.9. That's pretty unsteep. 5% will be absolutely fine. Let's do that. And then we can bend it over the highway this way. We haven't got Anarchy on, so that clearance is actually legal, as it were. So I think we can cope with that. It's actually not going up too much, so I think we're going to bring it up another sort of 5%. So it'll be quite a smooth slope going all the way over the bridge this way. And then if we bring it back down to ground level, we're going to try and find a space here for it to sit nicely, hopefully, on the hillside where it's relatively flat. Minus 0.1 is pretty good. So yeah, we can bring that out round like this, and then we're going to loop around this hillside like I said. So we probably want to trim this road back just a tiny bit as well. We'll definitely connect that in, and then we'll try and get this in as flat as we can around here. It may require a little bit of terraforming just so that we can connect it up to this other road over this side. Now that's looking pretty nice and smooth, so we're going to come back here and we're just going to add in some very simple slip planes to connect each direction back into this arterial so they can get nice and easily from the highway road out into Gaudy Bay. So I decided to change my mind and have it so that they can turn in both directions up this arterial from the highway, so that'll make traffic either end a little bit easier, I hope. So that'll do for there, and then we can definitely connect the school back into this. We want to connect in this road here too, so let's go ahead and do that before we forget. So I think we're just going to wind this up the hill a little bit further to around there. It's not too steep, so that's okay. Now that then hooks into that arterial, so they've got some extra networks joining Gaudy Bay up to the outside outer skirts of the Few Haven area. Yet to be named farm district and suburb there. So we're going to start by flattening off a small area for the school here. We just need a little bit more space to work with where the buildings aren't going to start clipping into the terrain. I'm quite keen to have a few different layers in the actual school build itself, so we won't go too nuts with it. But I'm thinking something like that, and then we can smooth off some of the landscape around it as well. That will be not too bad. Okay, so let's lay down, firstly, a road for our main high school. Now I'm thinking like the orientation of it is kind of coming across this way, pretty much onto this estate actually, so the people in the tower blocks will be able to look across to the posh high school. So I'm going to place just a small piece of road right in the middle like that. And we're going to go in and grab our high school. We can click play again now. And we're going to position that nicely in the middle here. I'm going to change up all of the road networks, but you can see straight away that's pretty prominent in the landscape. I like that. I really like the red brick on it as well. And then as part of this, I'd really quite like to have both the extensions, because one cool thing we can do now is if we come down to here and we say the extension wing, we're going to select it. We can just turn off the extension wing now. So it still costs us $1,000 a month, but we're not paying wages. So it's not too prohibitively expensive. And then exactly the same thing with the gym extension. For now, we're just going to select that and deactivate it because I don't think this high school is going to have a massive amount of people in it. There's still a few little spaces in our existing high school, so we'll watch how that goes and then we can open up those buildings as and when we need to. Because it is going to take a bit of a hit on our budget, because the second thing I do want to do is I'm going to draw... Let's go to straight roads, that's going to help. I'm going to draw 2 roads down the side here, like that. And then we're going to go ahead and grab our elementary schools. Now, actually realising I've made a bit of a mistake here, we need to come across like so that we can get these in a really nice orientation. Yes, something like this. However, I would just like to shift them a little bit further back, I think, so they're a little bit more aligned to where the high school is. Let's move it, and we're going to grab this one. I'm going to shift this up to here. Like that. So there's a little bit of a gap in between the buildings, but it feels more kind of like one complex is what I was thinking here. And then we'll do the same thing this side. This one can actually come in a bit closer. We can rework those roads in just a second as well. Now this side is slightly different because it's got the car park entrance there. So I'm hoping that'll still be connected to the road and good enough for them. We definitely want to bring a road down here. So let's just for the moment delete these ones out, and then we can reframe it around here. And in terms of the types of roads that we're going to use here, I'm going to say tree-lined probably of some description would be quite nice coming up into this complex. So we'll draw this one across there. So we'll have a little look at adjusting that in just a second, but for the moment let's just sit back and admire our big red brick high school up on the hill from around the city. So you can kind of see it from everywhere, which is what I really, really love about this position. There's actually a private school nearish where I live that's situated on the hill, and I remember driving along the motorway and every time we'd see it, we'd be like, oh, there's the big school. So I guess I'm taking a bit of inspiration from that actually, and applying it into Cities Skylines II. So let's tidy this up and get this all hooked in. So we definitely want to smooth off these edges here. I'm going to make the brush size quite a bit bigger actually for this, so that we get a little bit more of a larger surface area being impacted there. Now of course the smoothing needs to, the flat surface area for these main buildings needs to extend a bit. This road is very dodgy there, but that's okay. And then we'll come back into smooth with our large brush and try and get rid of some of those cliff edges. I don't think we necessarily want those around the school edge. We just want nice grass, flowing fields all the way up there. So I'm kind of thinking some kind of like avenue would be nice up here. So maybe we even use the one-way roads as like a one-way road system coming into the school. I kind of think these should be pedestrian roads though around the front here. So let's make these one way. And then we can come down from here. And then maybe connect these into an open road this side. So we can make this a crossroads intersection up to the school, which might be quite nice. Come across something like that. Of course, that bit probably needs to be one way as well, which it would. We can join that back in there, so we'll make that one way. And then we've got this one-way system running round the kind of couplet going up to the school here. Definitely don't want parking on them. So I'm thinking trees in the middle would probably be the nicest thing here. But it will squash the road a little bit, so I think we'll leave it like that for the time being. And we'll have this grassy border all the way up because it's posh after all. And then we will upgrade these to pedestrian roads because then we can do some kind of nice entry plaza design up there. We can add in, so we have got these car parks on the elementary schools as well. But I actually think some of these, so I am going to turn this off, by the way. I don't think we're going to use that much of them. What was this elementary school at? Yeah, it's still got a lot of spaces. So I think for now we're going to turn both of these off, in fact. So they're purely decorative elements. But we do have these extension wings, which I think would be quite nice to add in certain places. So I'm thinking what we do is we add the gym extension onto this one. And that one is turned off anyway, so that's fine. And then we'll add the actual extension wing onto this one. So it's almost symmetrical. Or do we have the gym on this? Let's have the gym and the extension wing on here. Because I think the more buildings we have in here, the better. It is a high school after all, so it would be quite a large capacity of students in general. I know they're 2 elementary schools, but we're going for our imagination with this. And yeah, I think we keep that one a slightly different, so it's not purely symmetrical all the way around. We could even actually delete that extension wing. I'm probably going to waste money here if I repop it in. Yeah, I think we will do that. I think we'll delete that and leave that nice and plain there. Now, I do want additional buildings forming this campus, so what we are going to need to do is bring out an extra road. So I'm actually going to bring out this pedestrian road, and I'm going to wrap it around the sides of these buildings like this. So it almost like frames the school. It could be a way for students to get around the entire campus. That's what I'm thinking here. So something like that. I don't think we necessarily need it on this side. We'll do something a little bit different here. And then I'm thinking we just bring this on out down here a little bit. Hoping we've left enough room for this out to here, because then what I'd like to use is another aspect from the German pack. So the German pack comes with a whole load of residential assets. So if we go to this, you can see we've got loads of really nice kind of European city centre block assets. They're deemed as medium buildings, so it's kind of halfway between high density and low density. So you can see that there on the right hand side, but there's a whole ton of these which are just honestly beautiful. And I think what we could do is piece some of these together to act like a bit of a boarding house or a residential block for some of the students to live in. Because I think they look quite nice like that. I'm actually quite liking this one that I happen to have clicked on here. This 3x3 is pretty nice. Have a look at a 4x4. I mean, that's very grand indeed. What would actually fit with our main school? See, that seems very big compared to the main school building. I feel like that's probably not grand enough. I like the fact that this height is a little bit lower, so I think we're going to go for this one. And what we're going to do is form a block of these all the way round in a big square. So unfortunately, obviously the way the game works right now, we are going to need to put roads in for this. So that's where I'm going to use the pedestrian roads for a lot of it. So they're 3x3 blocks, so we need to come up to here to form our block, and then we can bring this across. In fact, what I'm actually going to do, bring this out to the same height here, is actually bring a car road round here so that parents or whatever dropping their students off could go right to the boarding house and have another car park out there. Because I'm thinking as well, we might have some staff living areas, living quarters in the school too. So I do know, again, from a local private school of mine, that I'm pretty sure some of the staff have kind of houses or at least places they can stay on site. Definitely the headmaster. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. That's what we'll do. So we'll wrap this road around again here, and maybe we actually, yeah, maybe we do bring it straight up into there, and then we can use our pedestrian road to wrap around here. We could use our skinny pedestrian road to wrap this though, so it might actually look a little bit nicer and less dominating. I quite like that actually. So I think let's utilise this around that part of the campus as well, because we've got this road access here, so I think we're still fine with that. So then let's copy this building and let's form this round into a really, really nice little 6x6 block like that. And that can act as a boarding house. I'm wondering if we want more than one though. So we could even potentially have another one in here, which could work pretty well. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Now this is going to be slightly more tricky to get in. So what we could do with these is actually use Move It to position them so they can go kind of in the middle. If I can get Move It to actually load, there we go. So they can actually sit in the middle of this block here, so it's a little bit more spaced out. So let's just rotate those round into position. We'll not worry about the warnings for the time being. We'll scoot these back over to here, so we've got our block formed nicely like that. And we're going to select all of these and then drag them somewhat into the centre. Does that connect? Is that big enough? If we then grab our small pedestrian street and wrap this around it, we may actually see some better results with this. So let's go ahead and do that. And perhaps it is a case that this one needs to be the larger pedestrian street. So let's just upgrade that. And then I think we should be able to position this in the middle of this block, no problems. And we can come in obviously with a bit of surface work there to pad that out and fill that in. I quite like that. It's sort of a little extra addition to the high school for sure. So we've got 2 of those kind of residential blocks. This is definitely going to be a boarding house out here. And we want to put a car park in here too for the staff and for any parents visiting the boarding blocks. I don't think we need a massive one here. I actually quite like this one. Nice and simple. A little bit of hedging already on it. Make our lives a little bit easier. So yeah, let's add that on there. And I think we can allow some parking on the street here too. But let's just upgrade maybe one side of it to grass. We'll do it up to there so we can have some on-street parking around there. And we'll get rid of it there so they have got that car park. I do think we probably want a bigger car park up by the entrance as well. So I'm thinking maybe that's along this side. And perhaps for this, it's actually just some simple little smaller car parks like so. We have got the car park still in the elementary school buildings there and there, so I'm kind of content with that. Add a small amount of additional parking here maybe. And we can do some decorating around that. Yeah, I think that will work pretty nicely. Now there's a few other things I want to put in here to flesh this out. We obviously want some sports fields for sure. I think that's absolutely necessary. But the other thing I was thinking is there's a really nice, unique building, which this is going to sound super strange, but the fashion centre, yes, this one, the fashion square, sorry, I thought that we could use this as like a modern addition to the school, a drama hall or something like that. Maybe it's the theatre for the school, but it's a big modern addition to it, so it's quite new. That's what I was thinking. So hopefully we can hook in our smaller pedestrian path into here. And I might cover this up with a few surfaces. Oh, that's not the one. That's not the one. There we go. Yes, we can. But we need to do a lot of better bulldozer work on this. So we're going to go to item select. We're going to do similar category. Yeah, similar category. Let's get rid of all of the signs. We're going to get rid of all of the... Oh, we don't want all of the benches up there. We do want the tables off the roof because I feel like that's a bit weird. We can leave the bins, that's okay. Yeah, let's get rid of the sunshades, the food things, the vending machines. Yeah, we'll do that. We can leave this little roof court here, but we don't want the kind of the elements of it which make it actually like a big shopping centre. We want it to be more of a theatre looking school building, no advertising, anything like that. Definitely not a hot dog cart or whatever that was. You probably could have vending machines around here. But aside from that, I kind of think that works pretty well as like a modern theatre building, a modern addition to the school, which has been added in more recent times. That's my thought behind it anyway. So coming on to sports, which is definitely needed here, I'm actually thinking, because we don't have the big sports field addition to that, we do have Anarchy and we do have it here. So we could use this and just extend this out to a location over here which isn't really going to matter too much because it doesn't have to actually be in the vicinity of that school with Anarchy. So it is trying to snap to a road, which means that orientation is what it's going to be, which I don't hate. I think we can, yeah, I think we can actually live with that. So yeah, let's put this in here. Now that's done some pretty horrible stuff to that terrain. In fact, what even has it done to the terrain? I'm not really sure. We've got like a very, very dark shadow there. Okay, perhaps this isn't the place for the giant sports field. Right, so to reposition it, we're going to have to come back to the school here. You have to go to High School Sports Park, relocate, and then try again. So we can do it quite a bit closer to the drama centre. I wanted to leave this big green space in the middle here, which I thought would be a nice aspect to it. Just thinking, where else could we put it? We could kind of put it slightly further down the hill, perhaps here, which might work. I'm going to say it doesn't work. And it does also need road access as well. So yeah, that's not an option. Let's relocate again. So I think we're going to go for this same space, but just further away from that road, which will be a little bit easier to manage. And we can make that work. We can make that work. There's a couple of other things though I do want to add as well. I definitely want to add a swimming pool, which I feel like a big posh boarding school like this would almost certainly have. So let's go into parks and we'll go to our large sports parks. So here is the pool. Can we fit this on this side? I think it would be nice to have a little bit of extra sports fields running down here around the drama studio, keeping it away from the boarding house as well. I feel like overcrowding that wouldn't be too nice. You kind of want to sleep away from where you go to school, right? I probably would anyway. So let's just flatten off a tiny bit more of this ground. Again, we'll tidy this up in just a second. So we'll go like that. Let's grab our small pedestrian street, and we could actually bring out a connection there. Yes, that works pretty nicely. And we'll come out a little bit further this way and across here. And we can grab our swimming pool. I think let's put this right on the end actually over here. So we'll extend this road up this way just to connect into it. So we just need to go up to there. Oh, that's quite nice because then we can end that road there. Then I'd also like to put in some tennis courts as well. And I think, again, rather than worry about details, just 2 of these tennis courts will be absolutely fine for this. So let's plop those in there. And the other building from the German pack I'd really like to use is this cute little police station, because it honestly doesn't look like a police station. So I think we can make this work. It could almost be like a groundkeeper's house or something along those lines. That's what I was thinking. So perhaps we put this here, and then we could use a little bit of Move It. Although it doesn't like being on that pedestrian road, does it? No, it definitely doesn't. Okay, let's get rid of that. We could upgrade this to the wider one. Of course, we don't have access for cars on our narrow pedestrian street, so anything that does require a car or 2 is probably not going to like it, like the service stations. So we'll move this into the middle, but again, from the German pack. Really, really nice, cute little asset there. I'm loving that. Really loving that. We do also have the issue that our tennis courts don't like this, so perhaps we will come in with some decals and flesh out a tennis area in here, which I think would be quite nice. We've got the big, large sports field there. We've got a few different open green spaces here too to play with, which I think will be nice. And then coming back to what I mentioned before, let's get in a couple of, and I want them to be the level 5 ones because they're nice and fancy. Yeah, these EU row homes, which I think would work quite nicely as some extra staff housing or something along those lines. It could be potentially music lessons are done in here or something as well. You could imagine some lessons are done in an old house such as this. So yeah, I think that will work nicely. Definitely needs some detail around it. But that is, I think, generally the bones of the school. We just need to get rid of these awful looking street networks here, tidy up a little bit, add our tennis courts in, make the sports field a little bit more friendly. You can't really view around here if you've got those big fences up, can you? So can we delete that, for example? We can. I'm thinking let's delete these bushes as well because they look a little bit weird. Okay, we can't delete the bushes. Well, that's all right. That's all right. But I'd like some space for parents to kind of sit and watch it, I think, as well. Like this gym equipment, we could leave that there. We could leave that there. I think I'll get rid of this surface, though. I'm not overly loving that. I'd rather have grass around here, so we can add an extra surface into there. We can definitely add some surface underneath the grandstand bit as well. and just generally tidy that up. I think what might be nice is to trace the almost like student pathways, aren't they, but a bit more fancy. Let's trace them up round the back of the stadium here. Something like that, which gives us a bit more of a defined pattern in and amongst that grassy area there. So yeah, I think that kind of leaves us with the detailing. I'm not too sure if there's any other aspects that we want to add. We could again add more boarding houses if we wanted to, but I think that's pretty substantial now. I'm curious to see how many students there are. Yeah, there's only 29. So we definitely turned off these, didn't we? Yeah, out of... Oh, we can see it actually from here, can't we? Reactivate, yes. And these are all turned off, yes. Correct. I don't mind having the police station there. We didn't put one over in our new suburban area, so I think that's okay to have there. Fashion Square. Do we have a business? We do actually have business in it, despite our commercial demand issues. There is a business in there. So how much money are we making? We're up to 19,000 an hour, even with these schools in. Granted, they're turned off right now, but that's not too bad. Now, the other thing to mention, just before I come on to the detailing, we're not putting it in today, but this German pack, because it's released today, let's talk about it a little bit more, has the best station I think I've ever seen. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to put it down, so you may not be able to see it, but look at that. Probably my favourite station I think I've ever seen in any Cities Skylines game. This is awesome. So nice. You can't really see it there because it's not flat. Let's go somewhere flat. There we go. Absolutely incredible work on this. Like, the detail on the brickwork and the framing of it is amazing. Absolutely love it. And the station platforms as well, beautiful. Love the little awning out the back. It's just awesome. Such a good station. Really good job. All of these asset packs that are coming out are really incredible work from these creators, so definitely go and check them out. They're all free to download off PDX mods. I haven't been paid for this video. I'm just genuinely saying I love these packs. The French one as well in particular. So many assets in that pack. Really diverse. German one, great for if you're doing European cities or trying to repurpose things into nice little school campus like us. But anyway, getting back to it, we're going to crack on with the detailing now, so I'll be right back after this little time lapse. I'm honestly pretty astounded at how well the German pack has worked for this. Like, these buildings are just beyond perfect. It would not have looked anything near like this if we had used the vanilla high school for it. Just so different. This is absolutely perfect for what I wanted. So really, really pleased with how this has come out. We'll just admire some of the views from around the city, shall we? So there we go. Obviously, graphics settings allowing, whether it will actually not spawn in, but show properly from around the city. But yeah, I love this. I love this. You can come right down to street level and you can see those red roofs poking out over the top. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Really, really, really pleased. You can even see from pretty much within this industrial estate as well. Everywhere. How does it look from Gaudy Bay? That's the other question. Or actually from down on the high street. Can we see it from down here? We can. So it's pretty prominent across Few Haven. Yeah, very, 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 very pleased with that. Oh yes, you can still see the little rooftops poking out even from Gaudy Bay. So yeah, there we go. I think location of this, absolutely perfect. Very happy with leaving the open green grass up at the front as well. We've used loads of textures around this, lots of hedging around it as well. I'm thinking this was probably once someone's wealthy mansion or something like that. Maybe it's just a very old boarding school, maybe it is that. But it had some landscape gardeners, definitely come in and refine it a little bit. So yeah, I've gone around the elementary school and removed some of the hedges in places so that we've got little walkthroughs coming through. Did this kind of fancy plaza area outside the modern, what I'm going to call the theatre, the drama school for the school, which actually, incidentally, still has a commercial building in it. And the commercial demand actually popped back up a moment ago, although it seems to have disappeared. But we did actually have some. I'm wondering actually if the information's not come back. There we go. But yeah, we do have a building in here. It seems to be functional. I'm just wondering what it has done to unemployment. We're down to... Oh, wait, hang on. That was 5 and now it's 12. Okay, we're fluctuating. We'll see what happens there. I actually realised that these buildings that I plopped in actually upgraded because my Rico settings had reset. Wonderful. So I had to replace those in, which made a whole bunch of people homeless. So that may be why we've got some fluctuations going on in the demand. In terms of who's actually in the school, we've got 108 people there. Obviously, these are both shut. Just going to check this elementary over here. Yeah, we've still got space, so I'm kind of reluctant to open those as of right now. The police station's obviously functional over here. Arrested criminals, none. I mean, it's a very nice, wealthy school area, so I wouldn't necessarily expect any criminals to be hanging around our lovely high school here. I did also, just a note from the road, put this big wall all the way around the bottom of it in either direction. So you can kind of walk past it or drive past it even, and you see these big walls going up to this big fancy country estate. You have to come around the one-way system up here. Lovely jubbly. Really like this fountain plaza outside the front of the school here. The surfaces have worked pretty well. It's not 100% perfectly symmetrical, which is kind of bugging me, but it's good enough. It's good enough. We used the little trick with the tram bollards here as well. So the tram poles, I think they're called, sunk them right down into the ground with extra detailing tools, and that works really nicely as some little safety bollards for the main front of the school over here. Yeah, going back to the modern plaza, I decided to do a bit of a pattern with the surfaces here. I thought that might be quite nice. Maybe the art students decided to leave some nice paving for it, but I thought it fitted well with the theatre building, as I'm calling it. You can imagine the parents coming in and gathering out in the plaza before they go in to see their lovely children's play or concert or whatever it is over there. I also did actually upgrade this road to one with cars allowed on it so that our tennis courts could actually sit here nicely. So we have done that instead of me just putting in the decals. I mean, I'm fine with this. Okay, we have got homeless moved in though to the high school tennis courts, which is interesting to say the least, but I think it works a bit better. We get actual people on there, it gets usage, it serves a purpose rather than just having decals there. Obviously got the big sports field. I added some extra surfaces in around that, added some sheds where they could keep some of the sports equipment is what I thought over here. And just replaced some of those surfaces, tidied surfaces up around buildings in general, made this all manicured lawn in the middle here. Lots of hedging around with gaps so that students can kind of come out in between the hedge and out into the open grass areas and the playing fields. I'm very much imagining that this space up here, and particularly these banks, is where parents would sit on sports day to watch their kids do whatever sports they're doing. That's kind of what I had in my head there. And then we've got the music house or the teachers' staff buildings over here. Yeah, I didn't do much to those, just a bit of hedge around them to tidy it up. There's a lot of hedge work around here, but I think it's coming pretty nicely. We've tidied the surfaces up around these buildings in the middle here too. And yeah, we have our fancy high school in. Absolutely loving this German pack. I'm loving the diversity that we're getting from having these asset packs out with the French pack and now the German pack and the UK one coming very, very soon. It's really bringing a whole new kind of lease of life to the game for me and a lot more excitement in terms of what we can do and repurpose some of these assets of like amazing style. Looking forward to seeing some of the later packs as well, which will add a lot more diversity, I think, to our cities. But there we go. View Haven has got a posh boarding school. And before we sign off, I do actually want to give it a name. So I'm going to honour one of my wonderful FewCandy Patreons, and we're going to call it the Paul Raymond School. Thank you so much, Paul, for all of your crazy support across such a long period of time. I hope you enjoy your posh boarding school now in Philadelphia. And if you're keen to support the channel, you can find out ways to do that in the description below, Patreon being one of them, where you may potentially get little areas named after you in the city. So we've had Gaudy Bay and we've now got the Paul Raymond School, and we'll have a whole load more before we have finished filling out this map. Really, really appreciate the Patreon support. But for today, that is going to be it. If you have enjoyed the episode, likes, comments, shares are greatly, greatly appreciated. Let me know what else you would like to see. If you'd like to see a French region, maybe in Philadelphia, let me know that in the comments below. But that's all from me for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. While you wait for new content, check out one of the videos on screen, and I will catch you again next time. Bye bye.